This podcast does not contain spoilers.
Is this sugar on this? Oh no, it's cocaine.
Yeah, this doesn't taste like salt or sugar on this margarita.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to Microsodes.
Hello and welcome to Microsodes, a podcast where we review movies in less time than it takes to watch them from two different perspectives.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Ashley, the movie novice, which means that I haven't seen a lot of movies.
And I'm Bobby, the resident cinephile here at Microsodes. And what that means is I've seen a lot of movies. It doesn't mean that I'm an expert, but I do have some expertise in a couple different films. But first, you ready? Are you 5-star ready?
I'm 5-star could be sponsor ready.
This Microsode could be sponsored by Skechers. I wear their shoes every day at the gym and at work. And also, the company tagline is Lights, Comfort, Action. So it kind of goes right along with our podcast. Here's a 5-star review from a 5-star customer. I'm so impressed with these shoes. I just wish they didn't cost so much to replace. But I bought these suckers used at a thrift store 10 years ago, so I'm not sure how old they are. However, this may be their shelf life. OMG, 10 plus years, and they didn't rip out the toes like they normally do? Highly recommend. End of review.
Nice. That's a great one.
I just thought Lights, Comfort, Action.
That is very
kind of
cool. That's
went
really
right
their
with us.
tagline?
Yeah.
Skechers.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Microsodes.
Welcome.
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Ashley.
Very
And-
nice to see you again.
Oh, it's so nice to see you.
All right, well, tell the people what we're going to watch today.
Today, we will be reviewing Vacation Friends,
The original.
the original.
All right. Well, as you guys know, we're going to get right into the movie details. So the movie name is Vacation Friends. Its release date was August 27th of 2021. The genre as listed is raunchy, comedy, adventure, and comedy. A little redundant, but that's what it is.
Is raunchy comedy one genre? Or
Yes.
is it raunchy, comedy, comma?
No, it was raunchy comedy, comma, adventure, comma, comedy.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a runtime of 1 hour and 43 minutes.
hmm
It is rated R. And this one is very specific. So this was a Hulu original. So you can only watch it. There's only 2 platforms that you can watch it on, which I guess they're kind of owned by the same thing. One is Hulu and the other one is Disney Plus. Now, if you have Disney Plus, you have Hulu as well.
I think there's a package where you can get both.
Right. It's a Hulu original, so there is nowhere else that you can buy it. So you can't watch it on like Fandango at home, YouTube Movies, Amazon Prime.
Oh, yeah. I think once you buy Disney Plus, you get Hulu.
Right.
But if you only buy Hulu, you don't have to get Disney Plus.
Right.
So I see what you mean.
Yeah, so those are the only 2 platforms that you can get it on.
Okay.
The distributor was 20th Century Studios, and the director was Clay Tarver. As a tiny little tidbit, he was also one of the 3 writers on this movie as well.
Oh.
And he's written a couple of other things, and he's directed a few movies that I've never seen. Yeah, and I've never heard of before.
Oh.
So maybe I'll watch those in the future, but we'll see.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Just.
Maybe. All right, you ready to watch that preview?
Yes, I'm ready to watch the trailer.
Let's do it. We'll see you guys on the other side.
Oh. And we're back. What
Wow.
a trailer that was.
What'd you think?
It was funny.
Okay.
It looked like people met other people on vacation.
Mhm.
Or
Maybe that's the title.
yeah, maybe. Well, it seems like they're friends and they were on a vacation.
I see.
But then at some point they find them again. They're
Right.
like, "Oh no. Who are these people? We
Right.
met him on vacation and now they're here."
Exactly.
I mean, it was pretty straightforward trailer for me.
Okay.
So I don't know what
Well,
else to
this
say.
one has to do with a scientist. It
oh
doesn't.
no.
It
oh,
doesn't.
okay.
The synopsis: an uptight couple makes friends with a rowdy couple while on vacation in Mexico, but their friendship takes on an awkward turn when they get back home. That's it.
Nice.
Oh yeah. So that was the synopsis. So you were pretty spot on again. I think you're really starting to get good at this stuff.
Maybe.
Just maybe.
I think when we thought that I would watch the trailer and see what it was about, I think it was more, I was trying to explain to you, not trailers, but explain to you what I thought classic movies were about. Like if we talked about Back to the Future or something.
Sure.
I guess that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Like what was funny. Talking about the trailers, I don't know if I'm very good because they're kind of straightforward.
Sometimes they aren't.
That's
There's
true.
been a few where you've said some pretty off the wall things.
That is true. Yeah. Like
sometimes
Salem
they're
Slot.
straightforward. I mean, the long legs one, people won't really know.
How long his legs are.
That's true. That's very true.
Okay.
All right, you ready to watch the movie?
I'm so ready.
Let's do it. That was a good one.
What a movie.
What a flick.
What a flick.
There you go. I think I'm going to start out today, if that's okay with you.
I think that's superb.
Awesome. All right. So for story, I gave it a 3.9. I feel like this is one of the movies that we've all kind of seen before, like a Hangover, American Pie, Bridesmaids, where uptight people like learn to, relax a little bit or something else like that. But I think the reason why I appreciated this movie so much more and I gave it such a higher rating was the people, Ron and Kyla, those characters played by John Cena and Meredith Hagner, excuse me. They stayed themselves throughout. They were unapologetically themselves the entire way through.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked that. I really liked that they were just that's just who they were. And I think sometimes in like movies like Bridesmaids or, The Hangover or something, there's always a lesson to be learned. There's always this to be, but those two just they were just themselves the entire way, living their life. And I feel like they really embraced those characters 100% from beginning to end. So I really like that. And I think it added a lot to the story.
That's for story,
Yeah.
not for acting.
No.
Oh my God. That was the best response ever. Yeah. No.
Yeah. I wanted to put it in there because if they weren't part of the story, I don't think
I think that is the story.
I know, but if they weren't part of the story, if those two were not, like say it wasn't them and that like say it was, I don't know, Johnny Knoxville and I don't know, Katherine Heigl, but I don't think that somebody could pull it off. I think
are you saying the actors?
Yes.
Then wouldn't this be acting?
I understand what you're saying, but you're trying to argue. I'm saying like the story was elevated. It was going to get a much lower rating for me. It was going to get a lower rating because I've seen movies like this before.
Oh, right.
But what I'm saying is because of these characters and because of whoever wrote it and created this story, allowing those characters to remain unequivocally truthful to themselves and what they were representing, that's the reason why I thought the story was better.
Oh,
they didn't
okay.
have to apologize for being themselves.
Right.
They were just themselves all the way through. And I think that's sometimes what is missing. Sometimes people have to go back and have this huge redemption story.
Right.
But with them, they didn't need to do that, which is the reason why I appreciated it so much more and I gave the story a little bit higher. It'll also come up in acting as well, but that was just the reason why I enjoyed the story so much.
I like that. Mine is very kind of similar.
Okay.
I gave story 4.5
Wow. Okay.
because I thought, unlike some of those other raunchy comedies, it had a completely different premise. I feel like, because they didn't know each other at the beginning.
Right.
And it's like you go on vacation with, I mean, I don't know personally, I don't know of any movie that's similar to that. I mean, we know movies like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles or Meet the Parents, those, or Wedding Crashers. Those are kind of the same, like Bridesmaids or whatever, The Hangover. But I don't know of one about vacation friends with like married couples. It's just very interesting to me because I thought it was kind of unique.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
And I think although it was funny and off the wall, I wrote down that it was funny, and although it was kind of outrageous at parts, it also had heartwarming scenes too. So it didn't feel like raunchy from beginning to end.
Yeah.
I like that there were little parts mixed in that were kind of happy. And I like that even though the couple kept messing things up, it always seemed to work out in the end. It never seemed to get, I mean, I don't think this is really a spoiler, but it never seemed to get too bad for them. Like I had to look this up because I couldn't remember, but in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, when the car burned up,
right?
Like they had to pay for that at the end. Like they don't mention it in the movie, but you know that there's like an issue, like there's stress that's going to happen after the movie.
Okay.
Or that one I didn't look up because I knew that one. But Meet the Parents, someone broke their nose, like someone broke someone's nose, or like the sewage exploded or whatever.
There's a bunch of different things.
Yeah, at least this one, it felt like they were awkward and tense and like, oh no, those are so over the top moments, but I feel like it never escalated to anything super serious. So that's why the audience, me, I guess, really liked the characters, because even though they were crazy and off the wall, like you said, you mentioned the characters too.
Right.
Even though they were crazy and off the wall, they still had that like redemptive quality.
Yeah.
Like they never did anything too bad.
Right.
Like they didn't break anyone's arm. You know what I mean? So I like that.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, for acting, I gave it a 4.5.
Okay, nice.
I think they casted the characters really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think all four of them had great rapport with each other.
Mm-hmm.
They seemed like their reactions and body language seemed accurate to the characters' feelings.
Yeah.
And I think we could feel the discomfort and uneasiness of the main couple.
Oh, yeah. Marcus and Emily.
Yes. You could feel the discomfort just by them looking at each other.
Right.
Even if they didn't say anything, they just did a really great job embodying those characters. And of course, the other couple,
Kyla and Ron.
Mm-hmm. They did a great job because they seemed like they were actually those people in real life too.
Oh, yeah.
It just seemed like they really fit their characters. I think it was cast well. And I think they did a good job being those characters.
I completely agree. I gave it a 4.6.
Nice.
And I said pretty much almost word for word what you said. I said I might have just watched this movie for the Ron and Kyla scenes.
Yes.
They completely almost steal every moment that they're in, but it's because they're embracing those characters so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the same thing with Little Ray Howery and Yvonne Orji. Or Orji, Orji.
Orgy?
I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name out there. But that was who played Marcus and Yvonne. I thought that they were fantastic as like able to cool the scene down when it got too hot. It was
Yeah.
just, they did such a great job. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it was perfectly cast, because I thought all the ensemble characters, like Marcus's dad and his mom, and like
Yes.
the guys from his construction company, and
Mhm.
all these other, even King Batch and whatever that other
Oh,
guy
yeah.
is with, those, it was just, they worked really, really well together.
I
And I think
agree.
it blended very seamlessly. So I thought they did an excellent job.
Yeah, and like you said, Kayla and Ron, it's like you watch it for what they're going to do because it's so hilarious. But
Right.
Marcus and Emily are so relatable.
Yeah.
It's like you can really feel their pain in those characters.
Yeah.
But you're also there with the vacation friends. So
Yeah.
it's like the audience, I felt like I was part of Marcus and Emily, like enjoying this crazy exploration with these new friends. So
Right.
I felt like they were really relatable too, even though the other ones were kind of the main couple.
Yeah.
They still had that like really close relatability to the audience, I feel.
Yeah. I completely agree. They did a really, really good job. I think whoever was the person who found that and put those people together, well done.
I agree.
So for writing and dialogue, I gave it a 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
My whole thing was, they didn't break the mold with the story.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it, like kind of what I alluded to before, was I've seen something, maybe not exactly the same thing, but stories that are kind of similar, like raunchy comedy, like Bridesmaids or American Pie or The Hangover. And so it wasn't like they broke the mold for me. A lot of the things were really, I don't know if it was improv in some of those scenes with these
Mhm.
people, but the writing, I think, in the scenes for the characters was pretty great, especially for Ron and Kyla.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a couple moments that fell a little bit flat for me in a couple of the different things, but overall, I thought that it was a pretty good representation.
Nice. For writing and dialogue, I gave it a 4.1.
Okay.
I think the dialogue, I guess I mentioned this in acting, but the dialogue between the main couple, Marcus and Emily,
Mhm.
it just seemed very realistic.
Yeah.
Some of the dialogue was raunchy, but it didn't feel as bad as some other movies. Like
Right.
this felt like it was along the lines of Bridesmaids rather than, I don't know, what other raunchy movies are out there. American Pie.
Yeah, American Pie.
Yeah, it was more of like Bridesmaids, which I liked. It
Yeah.
wasn't too over the top because
Right.
when it starts getting too like sexual,
Yeah.
it's just not entertaining for me. It just feels like a cheap laugh.
Yeah.
So I like that it didn't really go too raunchy,
Yeah.
I guess. And I did like that they wrote John Cena's character to be like, even though he's outrageous,
Mhm.
he's also he says really intelligent things.
Yeah.
So it's like the juxtaposition of that one character is so interesting to me.
And he's always kind to people.
Yes.
He gives everybody a chance.
Mhm. He's going to be himself, but in a kind way.
Right.
He's never like, neither one of them were really like putting anyone down. They were always trying to lift someone up. Granted, it might not be the best way to do it,
Yeah,
or
right.
it might just be a completely outrageous way to do it.
Right. Is this sugar on this? Oh no, it's cocaine.
Yeah. This doesn't taste like salt or sugar on this
Yeah.
margarita.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
and
I
then-
agree with you.
And then the writing of the scene with the mushrooms, I think, was pretty funny.
Yeah, I can see, I just felt like it went on a little too long. And then when that other thing was going to happen, I don't want to ruin the scene.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, wow, this is really over the top. This is
That part did feel over the top.
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from.
because in another movie that we're going to reference, there's another scene that's quite similar for the spelling movie.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And so we won't ruin that now, but that I felt like was a perfect representation and went on for the right amount of time.
Yeah, and just by that reaction of mine,
Yeah.
you'll have to listen to the episode because you don't know if that was a good oh my gosh or a bad oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, that's very true. But I'm there with you. I could see where you'd come up with that score.
Yeah. And moving on to direction,
Sounds good.
I gave it a 4.5.
Okay.
I think the director and the scenes and how everything lined up, I think it fit the story really well. I think the wardrobe was great. I think the visuals looked great. They had some practical effects, I believe.
Oh yeah,
I
but
mean, I
you're
guess that's visuals.
yeah, that's
Never
visuals.
mind.
You're good.
I think the story as you're watching it just kind of fit together effortlessly.
Yeah,
Even though there's so much going on, it just felt kind of seamless to me.
fair enough. I gave it a 4.0. I thought the director, because he was one of the writers, he had a pretty good idea of how to blend comedy and character development.
That makes sense. Yeah, they
So-
did have good character. I mean, even though we didn't have a huge amount of character development at the beginning,
Right.
the amount of vulnerability that we got from the characters throughout the story
Right.
helped with the character development.
And I think like they explained a couple different things. There was some really good, like you alluded to, some good touching moments, some obviously some hilarious and over the top moments.
Mhm.
And so I thought that they did a really good job of blending those two.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like the movie got bogged down or dragged down anywhere. It felt like a really nice even flow.
Yes.
So I thought it was a pretty good job. There was just, I think some of the stuff, like I said, the mushroom scene and stuff like that, it went on just a little too long.
Okay.
But overall, I thought they did a great job. Cool to move on to visuals.
Yes.
All right. So for visuals, I gave it a 3.8. And I said this, if you've listened to any of our other podcasts, you'll know that I'm not too much of a fan of CGI or over-the-top special effects. I'm more of a fan of practical effects. But I thought that they did a really good job with some of the practical effects on this. But then there was a couple of different things. The mushroom scene I brought up. And then also, I don't think this is going to ruin anything. I won't say, because maybe it will, but Ron's special power where he can tell if something's going to happen. And I'm just like, come on. Like,
I can't remember.
It's birds pooping. He can tell when a bird's about ready to poop.
Oh,
then
like
birds are
stupid
yeah,
things.
like birds are flying around pooping and stuff.
Yeah.
I know you'll have to cut that out, but I just
I mean, I don't know why we need to cut that out.
I didn't know if it was going to ruin the story or
Does
anything.
it?
I don't know. It's just something that they don't show in the previews and stuff. And he's like, that's his like specialty.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure. Use it or don't. But they had to CGI a bird doing that. Or yeah, they had to CGI that, and it was like, for what?
Yeah,
it was
like
almost
what,
like
what did it add?
Yeah, it was just like kind of like a cheap laugh.
Yeah.
And so I thought that they did a good job of like blending some of the stuff. It's in the preview, so you'll see he shoots a bottle off of his head, and it's like, wow, that's a really cool practical effect, right? So they had a good blend, but it wasn't the best visually that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So that's why I rated it 3.8.
Okay. For visuals, I gave it a 4.5.
Wow.
I loved how bright it was. Everything was, I mean, granted, it's not like a thriller or a horror, but it was so bright and fun. When they were in Mexico, it just felt like we were on vacation. Everything was so
Okay.
saturated.
Nice.
The visuals were really, I guess the visuals felt really bright, and it just, it made me happy.
That's awesome. Okay. I can see that.
So I liked that. I think I really enjoyed the unique edits that they had based on the character's state of mind. So if they were in a I don't know, a drug psychosis or whatever, I guess not psychosis. If they were taking drugs, for example, we could see the point of view, like the film point of view from the actual person taking the drugs.
Right.
And we could see it from outside, like as an audience member.
Yeah.
And we could see it from various angles, and they had like the cool purple background when they were doing the drugs. It just was visually stimulating.
Okay.
And I liked seeing the different points of view. So I like when we're watching a movie specific, just this is personal, I guess. I like when we're watching it and we end up in the character's point of view.
Yeah.
It just feels so cool to me. So I really like movies that have that.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, I didn't know that. That'll be something that I'll look out for in the future. But I agree with everything that you're saying. It just,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm just kind of I don't like the CGI stuff for the point of having CGI.
That makes sense. But that's interesting because we bring up completely different things when we think about the same categories, but we bring up completely different aspects of it.
I completely
Which is
agree.
so different. It's so interesting.
Well, that's the reason for this little microsode.
You better
Two different perspectives.
Yeah.
You better enjoy it.
You better enjoy it. You knew what I was gonna say.
I knew it.
Even though I didn't.
Even though you calmed yourself because I guess you thought you were going to be too loud.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna move the microphone too much.
Okay. All right, you ready?
Yes.
It's you.
So, okay. So for overall score, I gave it a 4.42.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think I enjoyed the story. I like that it was another kind of a movie like similar to Bridesmaids
Yeah.
that's not similar to like American Pie.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen American Pie, but I've seen clips of it, and that's not something I would ever want to see. That's just personal.
Right.
So you're learning more about Ashley today. I do not want to watch a movie like that. It just sounds like gross to me.
Yeah.
And so I like that this one wasn't that way, but it was still a comedy. I feel like it's hard to find a lot of comedies that are actually funny these days. That aren't like sitcoms or family comedies.
Right.
Where it's like,
well, Fall Guy was pretty great. Or excuse me, The Fall Guy.
The Fall Guy was, that was good. And Barbie was good.
Yeah, that was great.
That was a good movie. Yeah, I think the acting was great. I really enjoyed the characters. They felt fun. And I like the visuals. And I also really liked seeing Emily wearing clothing from the brand I used to work for.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I thought that was really cool. And you can see it in the trailer too. So that was just very cool for me. I like seeing things that I like work with in film or in movies. It's very, I don't know, it's fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's not my line, but
yeah, but it's something that you can relate to and you can talk to people about, which is always really cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool.
Absolutely. For my overall, I gave it a 3.96.
Nice.
I think I probably should have rated it just a little bit higher, maybe above a 4, like maybe a 4.1 or something. But I just going back to something that I've already seen before as one, and then the second portion of it, just the visuals and the direction. I don't think we matched up there, but overall, I thought it was an awesome movie. I think we will definitely watch it again. And I wrote down, it's one of those movies, like it's probably going to become one of those classics where if you watch it once and you were like, if you had your TV on and said, oh, Vacation Friends, you might just flip it on just to see where it's at.
Right.
And you might just end up watching the rest of the movie, or you might flip it on if you're making food or, folding laundry or something else like that to have on in the background. Cause it does have a lot of like really funny parts to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely recommend people watch it at least once.
I agree.
But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
Me too.
Awesome.
Well, that's been another microsode in the books.
Another microsode in the books and another crisp high five from across the room.
From across the room.
In our palms.
In our palms.
Well,
like our hands.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, thank you again for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you on the next microsode.
We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
John Cena.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Hi, I'm from the Marine Corps, and we need your help from a fellow Marine.
Oh, I definitely support.
A fellow Marine needs your help.
Yeah, and his name is
John Cena.
There you go.
We should be just like those directors.
Yeah.
Background of Cattle Lake.
Yeah. Background. You could do Macho Man Randy Savage. You're going nowhere, freak show. No,
Go nowhere, freak show.
there it is.
My voice isn't low enough.
Gonna go ahead and snap into a Slim Jim. Oh yeah. All right, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and by that I mean us, because hey, we'll probably have to edit the shit out of this. Probably only 20 minutes of usable stuff.
That's the end, folks.
That's a beat. That's all, folks.